Today we talk Metroid Dread, including new Amiibo, the final character to join the battle in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, an update to Animal Crossing New Horizons, all that and much more on today's edition of Mii Weekly. Let's do this! Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Mii Weekly, this time for Friday, October 8th, 2021. I'm Hero TJ with Nintendo Wire, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. I want to thank you for joining me. Wow, this has really been an incredibly eventful week. We've got all kinds of Nintendo news, so let's jump right in. The Nintendo Switch OLED model releases today, so I'm sure many of you out there are now enjoying your new and improved, larger, more vibrant screen. If you didn't have a pre-order, hopefully you still managed to track one down. Here in Taiwan, they were readily available. I don't personally find myself in the market, but for folks looking to upgrade over here, there seemed to be enough to go around, so hopefully if you wanted one, you got one. Also releasing today, Metroid Dread. There's been a lot of buzz and build-up for this game. Nintendo's been pushing it for months now, and I can say for myself, I'm more excited about this Metroid game than any other Metroid game ever, and I know why that is for me. The first Metroidvania-style game, and it sounds stupid to say that when you're talking about the actual Metroid series, really the first Metroid-style game I ever played was Metroid for the NES, and it really put me off because I was super lost. So I associated that feeling with not only subsequent Metroid games, but also Castlevania games that took their influences from the Metroid series. But since then, thanks to games like Hollow Knight, Ori and the Blind Forest, and Yoku's Island Express, I've really come to enjoy these series of games. The last Metroid game in at least this continuity was Metroid Fusion, and I think that was something like 19 years ago. So now that I've reached a place in my life where I can appreciate this genre for what it is, I thought for sure Metroid Dread would be a day one pickup for me. However, I did not anticipate the fantastic Castlevania Advance Collection, which I've just been poring over. So I'm gonna spend a little bit more time in that world first, and then I'll be sure to pick up Metroid Dread. I did, however, manage to pick up the Metroid Dread Amiibo, both Samus and the Mii robot. In America, at least, I know it's available in a 2-pack, but here in Taiwan, each of those Amiibo are sold separately. I know they're in pretty short supply in America, so hopefully if you wanted them, you got them. They weren't actually in abundant supply here in Taiwan either, although they were easy enough to get a hold of. What do they do in Metroid Dread? Well, you can tap any Metroid series Amiibo once per day for an in-game bonus. The new Samus Amiibo will give you an extra energy tank to increase your health by 100 once per save file, and the Mii Amiibo figure grants a Missile Plus tank to increase Samus's missile capacity by 10 once per save file. You can also tap any Samus or the Zero Suit Samus Amiibo figure to replenish some health once per day, and you can tap the Mii Ridley Dark Samus or Metroid Amiibo figure to replenish some missiles once per day. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to open these up and take a closer look. It may not be obvious at first glance, but both Samus and the Mii Amiibo figure sport the same base as the Samus and Metroid Amiibo that coincided with the release of Samus Returns for the 3DS. The Samus Amiibo even has the same platform pattern, and I imagine Mii probably does too, but you wouldn't know it by the enormous platform added to provide enough space for this hulking Mii robot to be able to fit onto the Amiibo base. I thought it might be pretty cool to compare it to some of the other Amiibo out there, just to get a sense of the scale. Here's a look at it next to another world-famous gunner. I wonder who would win in that fight. Here's a look at it next to Dark Samus, and the recently released Zelda and Skyloft Amiibo. And it seems to fit right in next to Rathalos from the Monster Hunter series. And here's a look at it next to the hulking Magnamalo, also from Monster Hunter. So I don't know about you, but for me, every day when Nintendo releases new Amiibo is an exciting day. I'm happy I got my hands on these. And we still have a whole bunch of Super Smash Bros. Amiibo to look forward to. Speaking of Super Smash Bros., there's a Metroid Dread Spirit event going on right now. There's 3 new spirits available for you to battle on the Spirit board for a limited time, including the Metroid Dread version of Samus, the Mii robot, and a trio of Chozo warriors. You know how obsessive I can be about keeping my Spirit collection complete, so of course I have already gone in there and gotten a hold of these. If you want to add them to your Spirit collection, you have until October 13th. In what I can only say is probably the biggest event in Super Smash Bros. History. The final DLC character for Fighters Pass 2 has been revealed, and it sent shockwaves throughout the entire Smash community. Series director Masahiro Sakurai did it. He actually did it. Sora from Kingdom Hearts is the latest and final character to be added to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Sora is a character that I predicted would be included in the second Fighter's Pass, going all the way back to before we even knew what any of them were. I'll include the link to that video in case you're curious to know my reasons for that. But part of me always felt like it was an incredible long shot, but somehow Nintendo and Mr. Sakurai managed to pull it off. I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game, and I'm not really much of a Sora fan myself, but I do think he's an incredible get for Super Smash Bros., and I'm thrilled for everybody whose dreams came true with his inclusion. Along with Sora, the entire Kingdom Hearts series will be coming to Nintendo Switch via the cloud, which I don't think is exactly the preferred method for this. I know that that limits a lot of people who have slower internet access from being able to play these games. I suppose it is better than nothing, and cloud gaming is probably the wave of the future. If you ask me, it's kind of a consolation prize. I do wish that they were available as just straight up downloads. I'm not sure exactly what the reason is for that, but for those of you who can play cloud games and are excited to be able to experience the Kingdom Hearts series on Nintendo Switch, there you go. And the final Mii Fighter costumes were also announced for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and there's only a few this time. We got the Octoling hat, a Judd hat, and, get this, a Doomslayer outfit. Pretty cool. It's really heartwarming to see all the gratitude being expressed towards Mr. Sakurai for, not just since the original game on the N64, but consecutively for the past 10 years, transitioning immediately from development on Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS into Smash Bros. Ultimate, and then more specifically for working on these DLC characters for the past 3 years. Hashtag thank you Sakurai was even trending on Twitter. It's nice to see that man get the recognition he deserves for a job very well done. Now that Super Smash Bros. Is finished, essentially, or at least it will be rather, when Sora is officially released on October 18th, I've got a lot of final thoughts I want to share about the game, but I don't really want to bury it in the middle of a random news episode. So look forward to a short series of videos from me with a very targeted focus on certain aspects of Super Smash Bros. I hope you'll join me. And finally, Isabelle, via Twitter, revealed the date of the Animal Crossing New Horizons Direct that was announced to be coming in the previous Nintendo Direct. The New Horizons Direct will air on October 15th at 7 a.m., that's next Friday, and it will include roughly 20 minutes of information about the content coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons in November. Brewster's Cafe was already teased, but I'm excited to see what else Nintendo has in store for Animal Crossing. Now let's make with that long overdue Legend of Zelda content. Please and thank you. Now playing! As I alluded to when we were talking about Metroid Dread, I've been absolutely loving the Castlevania Advance Collection. I beat Castlevania Circle of the Moon, and I think I can say definitively it is my favorite Castlevania game to date, even supplanting Super Castlevania 4. Now I'm a good ways into Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, and I have to say I'm not immediately as into it as I was with Circle of the Moon, mostly because I don't like the way that Juste, I don't know how to say his name, Just Belmont moves. His jump is a little bit more floaty, and I haven't quite fully adapted to the inability to sprint, although you can dash. Maybe a double tap sprint is unlocked later in the game, I'm not sure yet. And the dashing is a cool feature, but I haven't exactly figured out how to fully integrate it into my playstyle yet. I just enjoyed the way that Nathan Graves from Circle of the Moon moved instantly. As soon as I took the wheel and started moving him around, it felt like such a substantial upgrade from the way that Simon Belmont moved in the original Castlevania game. Such a natural evolution, and in a lot of ways, I think the Belmont from Harmony of Dissonance, I don't want to say is a step backwards, but definitely less immediately intuitive. And because I am playing them back to back, the comparison is very abrupt, but so far I am enjoying the game, and I'm gonna stick with it. This episode's Spirit of the Week comes from Greg Micheli. We're looking at number 501, Jirachi, from Pokemon Ruby Sapphire. Jirachi is a Steel Psychic type mythical Pokemon. According to the Super Smash Bros. Brawl trophy description, Jirachi is a wish Pokemon. It's said to awaken for 7 days every 1,000 years, with the ability to grant any wish asked of it. It is truly a Pokemon of which dreams are made. In combat, it uses its wish power to attack. Its attack Doom Desire, which causes light to rain down from the heavens to do tremendous damage, is especially powerful. Jirachi appears as an ultra-rare Pokeball Pokemon in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. If released, it drops a bunch of stickers and then flies away. Jirachi returns in Smash for Wii U with the trophy treatment, and in Ultimate, of course, as a spirit. You can summon the Jirachi spirit by combining the Luma, Star Rod, and Starlo spirits. And should you equip Jirachi, it'll grant your wish of a fast-filling Final Smash meter. Thanks to Greg for the suggestion. If there's a spirit you'd like to see as the Spirit of the Week, please let me know in the comment section below, and if yours is selected, you'll be recognized in the episode with an on-screen credit, just like Greg. Now it's time to sound off. As I mentioned in our top headline, the Switch OLED model released today. Those of you familiar with my gaming habits know that I prefer to play on the big screen. Pretty much the only time I ever play portably is, well, when I'm attending to nature. maybe that's a little too personal. My question for you is, are you upgrading to a Switch OLED model? While there's really no strong incentive for me to get one right now, I will admit, if the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild releases with a super awesome special gold edition, it doesn't really matter if it's a standard edition Switch, a Switch OLED model, or a Switch Pro, that's a must-have for me. And that's a wrap for this edition of Mii Weekly. Thank you so much for joining me. By this time next week, we'll probably know what cool new stuff is being added to Animal Crossing, so be sure to join me next Friday. Until then, have a super awesome, amazing week. This is Hero TJ signing out. Thanks for playing.